And it really don't matter anyway when you are out of your mind and have a figmentation of your reality. For the pounded like the dap of the golden retriever, for the capitalist of the depths and the states of society, for the mind over matter, for the facts and don't matter, for the much as the wonder what they used to, for the when I took over the world with the truth of the harder facts and it was told that who you are. And you're going to end up another down and out for the underdepth of the direction of heart. Craft that art for the ourself to beat the harsh critics, and we also had that passion to create a masterpiece, which came for the master, the mind, for the blast of you all, for the orbital elements in this environment, for the create that bliss and the comfort, for the pleasure, for the be self-inflicted and inflicted, for the pain, for the toll that it was included. Obligated to be that part of the self-installation, needed to fit that maturity, for the age and numbers to calculate your attention. Span that for the duration, for the pleasure, the neglect, for the imagination, for the imagine what you could be, for the truth to inherit the falsehood, for the upscales in town. Adjacent to your never-ending story, for the house of the hillside drive, for the park avenue, for the richer revenue, for the rejuvenate, for the poor, for the eat and distribute. Lies to your stores, bread, what's and broke, convert your croutons and crochet. Left over to your yearnings and earn out the blessing to be generated for the generation to generous and generous and gentlemen, for the act harder, for the genetic and inheritance. Rich and poor in judgments and course of that, for the anchor to stagnation, for the just standards and to be walked through the good behavior, for the army of recruiters of your front line of war. Justifications and reasons and for your own why you are fighting for the peaceful future with the current dictating currency manipulating, regardless of who's wrong, for the expression of rights left to be proved and provoked and protected by bearing arms and harm, for that, for the love, for the not, for knowing for who you actually are, for the fit of the victims and not can have that waking up in the morning, for the bats and repeat and stuff, for the not wanting to be seen again, for the hurt of the same, for the pain place of the distance and the difference in time. Schedule that for the loner, for the later, too later, for the sooner, for the darkest lunar, for the rise to be perspectives and highers and lows and toes and high and tides and reseed that when magically turn to the rain to the light to find a shower of hope. Longevity to prepare yourself for the drought, for this to harvest what nutrients are necessary to depend upon, for depending upon others and survival skits and placed up on the scale for waiting the time to find and spoil. These secrets that fish upon you for too much consumption and mercury that keeps it retro. Renovated for the host and most moist, and that's the most important part for the mice to be the have the greater grinds and determination for the standing upon the united for the sense of the extinction. Egos and lies and proteins of the food for the charts and that's been revised for proof of eating by your agro corporations. Sold to you like expensive lies and winning barely making wages. And these are tough enough for the wedge out to that tight crack for the filling in neighborhoods and the hood niggas that can't get away from the downfall. Currents and rivers and go down for the enslaved, for the mentality, for the institution of raps and bars. Without a gene or a flag or genre for the culture, for the solidarity to self to be soldered. Welded the parts together for the this is still stand strong like steel seal. For the confidence for your product for not be the mislabeled, for the misled, for the pen, for the paper to write on with the first and fist in the air. For the tempers of the flare, for the music playing loud enough for the stereotype. You know those type of that one that always have something to say, then less for the how who you are, for how numb you are, for the behind that chest of treasure, for the found off of the map, for the you can coordinate to find the coordinates, for the starlight, for the dark skin. Segregation is saturated for the melanin, for the whose rhythm, of the melancholy, for there's been a whole sense that came out of one that I can find the sea level to walk on. Well, you can pick or choose. Do you want the hard times or the good or the blues? Or the reds and the adjectives and what you can flame after the expectation for the made fool of once again for no harm but hurt defenses bearing arms. Tied behind backs of effing fronts. Hard to bear from now experience and felt when the truth is not. Victimized must have been fear. Greed life in the direction of reason and why you keep on. Taking what's left to lose it, this with the right. Fully denied for this, I told you, but it should have known that. For there's no production scene without the trust, for support for the sound stages and foundations, and sink on countertops and offers without the water stability for to be able to know. If you're even able to be stable enough for the staples, and instead of that for the steam to the state for the staplers, and there would be a verb to describe that like an action scene that for the blinded sight. Her friends and this preferably for they could be excused again the execution of your X and Y questions and chromosome for you see that for me in the future for the can't see me they're repeating that for the past and after the no for the no for the no but they're never mind for the advertising the add-ons and the subliminal caretakers and that will fool your health and to believe in your well in position to positive and post doubt for the telephone post and social sites of non-seekers to be denied assistance but they don't walk into those walls and halls hollow for the trust accounts of the poor hope into those table of tar intents and finding out what I'm a contest and for the lesson to the consequences and the repurchase return shelves asking not to be labeled for the still to be a seller for the seller stop inmates in the corn from the no made for the match that burn or a book that is releasing to the need for the burn another opportunity for the get pulls and drives and your promises are only account for the ability for the add your jewel another consumer for the lesser for the subtract your accountability for the number of the statements and overdrafts understood for the given answer 8-5 for rating for you to be the memory banks and the executed for the unaware for the thought for the not being sure for the what you have there for the practicing of awareness and being surprised by what you're wearing and look like and feeling like in the mirror for the broken glass and never be familiar uncommon ground for that you have the power to walk on for the given day for the generous thoughtful sun and you can without a shine for the warm that for the heart for the body for the temperature for the because indifference is a climate and isn't temporary or have a perm Or a crosshair for that conditioning and left into to be a bounce in the wind for this should have that expected for the kite day for this to be such no drive in the park and the redundant ways of occupants and no occupants and the tenants, rights or wrongs, and express that for the compressing of the what you can make happen, shatter. Hopes of that for the science of the logic, but didn't teach you for the life to learn for you can reach you. And remember that for you told yourself not to be in vain for to eat that and self out of it, involving of an outcome and coming in and out for the announcing that squatting where you eat. Pray before you hungry and appearing and that for the change and needed death for the still of the beliefs right in front of me for the walking away like he had your back in times of vulnerability for the old newspaper, proposition, propaganda, propose, probably, provide, proof of progress, and produce production, progress pronouncing, support and supplements, sustains and that for the love for the liking the food for your super thought and this understanding for why you enjoy full of being had taste in your mouth for the pride for the floss and the bite so we fork too much and over the chew for the between the space and next meal for the only the full anxiety, bottle sob that carbonated for the sobriety to make your own self a little drinking game where you still a basic with no conscious inside until regress to finding your own way home again although there was only the address of subtracting zip codes and body languages are translated to the transsexual behavior that was you call the serious and doubt orientation for the comments and without the commitment for the communication these devices essential for the elements from the periodically period bringing to the table for the contents inside and the auction to the highest bid. Your dirty bib dropped and that who can bend unwanted desires to find what's self inside of you to manage your business and vision to only know what the limitation is closer to proceed with to get closer to it and losing in your heart. Well, you can pick or choose. Well, you can pick or choose. Well, you can pick or choose. Do you want the hard times or the good or the blues? Well, you can pick or choose. Do you want the hard times or the good or the blues? Or the reds and the adjectives and what you can flame after the expectation for the made fool of once again for no harm but hurt defense and bearing arms. Tied behind backs of effort fronts. Hard to bear from now experience and felt when the truth is not. Victimized, miserable fear, greed life in the direction of reason of why you keep on. Taking what's left to lose it, this is with the right. Fully denied for this, I told you, but it should have known after there's no production scene without the trust for support for the sound stages and foundation. Was unsink on countertops and offers without the water stability for to be able to know. You're even able to be stable enough for the staples and instead of that for the steams of the state for the staplers. And there will be a verb to describe that like an action scene that for the blinded sight. Preference and this is preferably for it could be executes again the execution of your X and Y questions and chromosome for you see that for me in the future for the can't see me they're repeating that for the past and half and no for the no for the no but they're never mind for the advertising the add-ons and the subliminal caretakers and that will fool your health into believing you're well in position to positive and post doubt for the telephone post and social sites non-seekers to be denied assistance where they don't walk into those walls and halls hollow for the trust accounts to pour hope into those table of tar intents and finding out what I'm a contestant for the lesson to the consequences and the repurchase return shelves asking not to be labeled for the still to be a seller for the seller stop inmates in the corn for the no mate for the match that burn. Or a book that is releasing to the need for the burn, another opportunity for the get pulls and drives, and your promises are only account for the ability, but to add you to another consumer for the lesson for the subtraction. Your accountability for the number of the statements and overdrafts. Understood for the given answer, 8-5 for a rating. For you to be the memory banks and executed for the unaware, for the thought, for the not being sure, for the what you have there, for the practicing of awareness and being surprised by what you're wearing and look like, and feeling like in the mirror, for the broken glass and have to be familiar. Uncommon ground for that you have the power to walk on, for the given day, for the generous. Thoughtful sun that you can without a shine, for the warm, that for the heart, for the body, for the temperature, for the because indifference is a climate and isn't temporary or have a perm. Or a crosshair for that conditioning and left into to be a bounce in the wind for this should have that expected for the kite day for this to be such no drive in the park and the redundant ways of occupants and no occupants and the tenants, rights or wrongs and express that for the compressing of the what you can make happen, shatter. Hopes of that for the science of the logic, but didn't teach you for the life to learn for you can reach you. And remember that for you told yourself not to be in vain for to eat that and self out of it, involving of an outcome and coming in and out for the announcing that squatting where you eat. Pray before you hungry and appearing and that for the change and needed death for the still of the beliefs right in front of me for the walking away like he had your back in times of vulnerability for the old newspaper, proposition, propaganda, propose, probably, provide, proof of progress, and produce production, progress pronouncing, support and supplements, sustains and that for the love for the liking the food for your super thought and this understanding for why you enjoy full of being bad taste in your mouth for the pride for the floss and the bites so we fork too much and over the chew for the between the space and next meal for the only the full anxiety, bottle sob that carbonated for the sobriety to make your own self a little drinking game where you still a basic with no conscious inside until regress to finding your own way home again although there was only the address of subtracting zip codes and body languages are translated to the transsexual behavior that was you call the serious and doubt orientation for the comments and without the commitment for the communication these devices essential for the elements from the periodically period bringing to the table for the contents inside and the auction to the highest bid. Your dirty bib dropped and that who can bend unwanted desires to find what's self inside of you to manage your business and vision to only know what the limitation is closer to perceive but to get closer to it and losing in your heart. Yours in those radio waves seem to be accepted, but sometimes not quite, or maybe sometimes mutual feelings leave space for acceptance. Standing on common ground, although patience is often tested. Feeling is getting hurt and this is being broken, not handling with a fragile heart. Care, I said it was annoying and it was annoying, and asked me again for the stead of for the doing, and if it's to come down for the aggravating and antagonizing me, saying you're trying to start anything for the send it after what I said, or just to be the annoying narcissistic stuff that I can't stand and stand anymore, but I want to sit down. You gotta find that way to be. And this is the part of your mental health that I'm concerned for. In a way, for the born, decline, the feeling of love for the spending for the dying days alive, happy. I want to have that for the not for the be the mission, for the because I believe in it. I think to find a stepping up for what I want to fall and pick up on and inspire. In a way, to see that person in despair. And everything that we can find is this time, and time that we can find and related to that band. I am more for the comfort, man, for the hurt, for the safe, for the consider that for the pressure, for the player. I am shooting that for the free throw, for the thought, for the manifestation, be all that you can be, for the discussion hatter. Position that for the common ground and love, and you can have another for the digging it, like grab the perspective and the needed for action, for the enough for the word, for the earn, for enough for the word, for the word, for the work, and enough for the not, for the action, for the respond, enough for the absolutely, for the here, for the be, earlier for the event, but you can see that for the anymore, for the end upset, for the hurt, and I can find that for all I say and do. That was the releasing of the unwanted, and feels good to let go of something that you've been holding on for too long, for the becoming undone, for the sadness of the converted to joy, for the won't feel that way again, for the most of the amazing part, for the this will be the battle, for the wasn't mine, for this will be the love and the purpose, and you could be telling me for the letting go, for the why, for this wasn't fair, actually for the only the mind, for the only for me, for this will be the doesn't that belong to her, for the devil, for the conviction and confidence I needed to move, continue my amazingness and trust and greater calling, no love for the lost and actually but gain, gratefully for the divine love that I can't wait for what's in store. It shall be reserved and that for the can be accepted, for the embracing the true love, for the see the truth in my love. I wanna have that release party for the it feels so good to release that, for that I never wanted to losing you, for the it was only finding me, for the love was lost and never had it been found, and I find love with hard to be so soft and weakened by the strength in me. Can't turn into the one be the greatest in the store for what I'm excited to, for the can't for the release, because it's not a break it up, it's a let it go. That man couldn't help but just find a way. Couldn't hurt but help him, for the sinners, for the try, for the errors, and expecting that for the different outcome again, for the incoming doubt, for the repetitive ways to soon wedge between my heart and the hard place, and the hurt for the heart, for the face of the sword, that for the delusion of marriage and the sanity. Expectations are hard to meet. She couldn't even face them.